What's up, world, and welcome to another edition of I Mix What I Like here on the Real News Network. I'm Jared Ball. We get the privilege now of rapping, pun intended, with one member of the legendary hip-hop collective Precise Science coming out of right here in Baltimore, Maryland, or what they more appropriately call Tubman City. Ruff Mike is a legendary producer, MC, and student of ancient sciences. He is also a youth sports coach and is involved with a few other youth organizations around the city. His partner, Freedom Writer, is a poet, videographer, and a teacher. He is also an active member of a number of political and youth organizations here in Tubman City. Ruff Mike, my man, welcome. Thank you for joining us here at I Mix What I Like on the Real News Network.
Peace and blessings, man. I'm glad to be here. How you been?
As good as could be expected, my man. You know the deal. You know the
Good.
deal. So tell us a little bit about Precise Science, because just a moment ago off the air, you were breaking down stuff that I had never heard, and I've been following you for years. So tell us about Precise Science and how you all came to be known as that collective name.
Well, Precise Science originally is me and my brother, Freedom Writer. He was doing spoken word up in the Connecticut area. I was always doing hip hop here in the Tubman City area. We met on Morgan campus. We were friends like 10 years before we decided to come together and do music together. Brother Keedy of LIB Radio put out a call for some African-centered music, so to speak, hip-hop, so to speak. And so we, put together 2 of the songs that's on our first album, and we gave it to him. It was the Mau Mau Project.
Right.
So the Mau Mau Project fell through, but Baba Keedy still played the music. So we were coming home to messages from Africa, from Venezuela, from Costa Rica, saying they wanted to buy these songs.
Wow.
So me and Free had got together and said, hey, this may be on to something. We created the album. The album was Precise Science. Everybody's not gonna make it. So we put the album together. We did the disc maker thing, got it set up, got it printed up, and we started moving around with it. So we were just Ruff Mike and Freedom Writer. Again, the album was Precise Science. Everybody's not gonna make it. Once we finished performing, everybody's like, Precise Science, Precise Science, Precise Science. And so we, instead of saying, well, wait a minute, everyone, we're not, we just ran along with it. And it fit, but it also put a standard on us that we had to keep. You know what I mean? I mean, we Precise Science now. So we have to rehearse. We have to have our show set down 8 times with no mistakes before we feel comfortable to present it to the people. Nice. That's what it's got to be. Push-ups are involved. You late for rehearsal, things of that nature. We had to put the people put us there, so we had to sustain that.
Well, I see you're not that big, so you must be on time.
Well, I do love vegan food. I'll say that.
So look, we know we have you here, but as we said at the top, this is a collective. So,
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the collective. Who else is in the collective, and where might they be found?
All of us are found on movementtunes.com. Movement Tunes is the conscious iTunes. You get conscious hip hop, reggae, R&B, things of that nature. But Precise Science is a collective. There's me. There's Brother Flo, who is Free's little brother. You hear him on my Who Me project.
Right.
He helps me out with the production and the engineering in the studio. People know I do the rhymes, I do the graphics, and I can't hold all of that and the beats and the engineering for every song, for every project, or you're gonna hear something slip or lack. So he's the next one we're bringing up, our protege, but he's also got his hands on the rope. This is on-the-job training, you know what I mean? So there's Kaba. And Kaba satisfies the soulful but strong vocal area. Brother sings.
He's crazy.
Sings his heart out.
He's brilliant.
Yes.
People should check out IMixWhatILike.org, where we had him on a radio project creating a on-the-spot freestyle remix to Gil Scott-Heron's Winter in America. My man is silly.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, please continue.
Yes. So there's him, and then there's also my brother Freedom Writer. You will see some musicians that are with us. We record at the Parliament Funkadelic band members studio now,
Nice.
child. the first band members of Parliament Funkadelic.
Nice.
They run that studio. So you may see fragments of them with us. But it's all precise science, where we touch a lot of categories and topics and things that need to be dealt with in our community.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because people see the ankh in your hand, the ring, the African medallion, the red, black, and green. This is an aesthetic that comes out of our generation that we saw a lot, particularly obviously with X-Clan,
Right.
Public Enemy, KR, a lot of cats, Poor Righteous Teachers, rocking this aesthetic. It's 2015 though. We have a black president. How is this still relevant? We got Jay-Z, we got Kanye. Why are you still holding to this aesthetic and this kind of content?
It's even more relevant now because there's a generation that's trying to be extracted from it. The generation immediately after ours, they don't know this. It's not a universal knowing like it was for us. And so it's what we need to apply to the problem. Why was it taken away from us? To start the problem in the first place, so we can cure the problem with the reintroduction of it or the reapplication of it. Hip hop raised me scholarly. When those brothers and sisters were wearing the medallions, it made me want to go and find out what that was. Hip hop made me realize what a thesaurus was. Because I grew up in the era where if you were redundant in the terminology and the dialogue, you were just a everyday cat. We were doing things to separate ourselves and not to mimic the next person. So we pulled out thesaurus and found out fugazi meant fantasy or fake. You know what I mean? And we broadened the vocabulary. And when culture is involved, you're centered, you're grounded. You know what I mean? You're not easily pushed off your square. You know what I mean? You're not easily scared, or you're not easily persuaded to do things against the culture. We have to be grounded in the culture.
And of course, we know from even Paradise Gray, former member of the legendary X-Clan, and his work with journalist Davey D, they've broken down the history of how there was an attempt, specifically a backlash against the organized effort in the late 80s among hip hop to rock this aesthetic. And we remember we'd see videos where people would take off the gold and the ropes and put on African medallions and all that. There was meetings at Latin Quarters nightclub to discuss how we would collectively agree to rock this aesthetic. And then the backlash has come to negate that attempt. So we appreciate that you are the negation of that negation. But I know you as Ruff Mike. Others might know you as Ruff Mike and your partner Freedom Rider, but you all also have other names that speak to some of this as well. So tell us about your actual African name, your name as a man, and what that means and how it connects to this work.
Well, my name is Ampu Pata Amen, and that means the finder of the way. That is my Ren. My Ren is the Kemetic name. It was based off my characteristics being born on a cusp of May 21st, the star alignments, and what weaknesses and strengths that day brings. I went through a rites of passage to carry this on, the white and gold lotus temple in New York. My master teacher is now in Atlanta, Hedi Kafra. And so we went through a rites of passage to earn this ankh. This is a battle ankh. You may see some people with a silver one, but this one is for battle. It's very hard. I could put somebody in a coma with this. So I had to earn and go through a rites of passage to get this. I had never been through a rites of passage as a man, as a young boy, like we're supposed to. I wasn't brought up in an African-centered home or consciously.
No, in fact, you and I both have a shared experience of getting our rites of passage through the military, the United States Navy, which is exactly what you're trying to speak against. That shouldn't be where we get those experiences, right? We should get them in this kind of context.
And that, and I wasn't even, my first eye wasn't open then. I saw the black Madonnas all around the world, and I didn't tie myself to them. Then I come home, reunite with Freedom Rider, and he sits me down in front of an Ashra Kwesi tape, and all of these murals that I had been seeing the past 4 years, here they are right here, and they're a reflection of me. And it just opened. That's it was opened, and so I always, doing this music, I was never about, I'll shoot your mom, I'll take your girl, I drink this, I drive that. I was more reality, everyday, talked about the things that we faced day to day through my adolescence, and then growing up into to being a man. I dealt with those everyday things, or everyday feelings, love, betrayal, anger, summertime. I dealt with those things. And growing and potentially culturally and potentially as a man, my skill set changed and risen, and I started to learn that I had the power to uplift, school, and have a good time all in one song. Uplift, school, teach,
Yeah.
and have a good time all in one rhyme. And I said, man, this is it. This is what I should be doing. And so being free, we haven't stopped.
And we appreciate that. Now, before we do wrap up, people might have already heard us discuss it this way, but we're here in Baltimore, Maryland. Some people call it Charm City, others call it Harm City, others call it Bodymore. We've heard all of those. You call it Tubman City. Talk about that. Why is that?
Two reasons. We need to rename everything back to where we restored it. For instance, this is Tubman City. DC is Banneker City. Detroit is Coleman Young City. We need to reclaim our territory. So that was one initiative. But I got tired of the DMV moniker and Baltimore being left out.
Now that's deep, because a lot of cats we talk to from Baltimore don't want to be included in DMV. They want to be seen as a separate and distinct. And for those who don't know, DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, usually talking about the Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, DC corridor, not including Baltimore. I'm glad to hear you say that. Please continue. Why? And how do you deal with the cats who I know from here who don't want to be included in that?
Well, I don't care about who doesn't want to be involved in that. Look, I'm a communal person. How be African and want to be ostracized? How can I be African and want to be ostracized? It's a collective that's going to win this thing. It's a collective that's going to win this thing. The eminent is for what? Maryland?
Right.
Okay, I'm in Maryland.
Right.
I'm in Maryland. I'm in Tubman City. Okay. Eastern Shore, Maryland is where Mama got her railroad, her underground going up there. You know what I mean? And so, I've heard corporations deal with this area as the Delmarva.
That's right.
Delaware,
That's right.
Maryland, Virginia, and they skip us around.
Yeah.
Skip right around us.
Or the whole Mid-Atlantic region, for that matter. We can keep going. Yeah, you're right.
And so, okay, this is Tubman City. You know what I mean? And you look stupid if you even speak against that. I can speak against the DMV. Why? Because it doesn't include us. That's what's wrong with it. You know what I mean? And we can have a debate on whether we're supposed to be in it or you know what I'm saying? But hip hop was all inclusive last time I checked.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And the only person that's gonna be respected is the only one that steps up and says something about the disrespect. You know what I mean? So we at Tubman City. My brother Jabari, Soul Vivers, Watoto the Nowder. We have our contingency, you know what I mean? But this is Tubman City, and we renaming everything. Los Lagos, that's Los Angeles.
Right,
You got Atlantis, that's Atlanta. We
No, that's what I think is great, and I appreciate that you even said that. So before we wrap up here, how do people get in touch with Precise Science? How do they follow your work? What's coming next? What's out right now? Let's get caught up on the music side of things.
Well, right now, Hypnostics is the album that's out right now. I got a new single out that I just dropped last week called Drum Call. That's on Movement Tunes for $1. MovementTunes.com is where you can go to the hip hop genre. Click on Precise Science or click on Ruff Mike. You can sample our stuff. It's smartphone friendly. You can go to it right now, pull it up, sample some of the music, then, download it for $1. We have lectures, we have workshops. This last weekend we were in Tampa. We used EWA, a Warrior's Manual, as the structure to our performance at the Warrior Conference with my Walimu Baruti on hand. We do things like that. We add this scholarship and the literature to the beats and the rhymes, and it's potent. It's where we need to be Scholarship and vibration. That's where we need to be at right now, and that's the frequency. Scholarship and vibration creates the proper frequency for us to get where we need to be. You know what I mean? So that's what we do. We ignite your ancestral DNA unapologetically. Sometimes it sting, but it'll go away. You know what I mean?
It'll be all right.
It'll be all right. You know what I mean? But we're on the campuses. Go to our YouTube page, Facebook, Twitter, at Precise Science. We're everywhere. We'd love for you to just critique us. We love to critique. We don't have a problem with that at all.
My man. Ruff Mike, Precise Science, thank you for joining us here at I Mix What I Like on the Real News Network.
Thank you, and for continuing to provide a climate conducive for brothers like me to come through and share.
Always. Why else would we be here? There's no other point in doing this if we can't
doubt.
have you here. And thank you for watching here at the Real News Network. I'm Jared Ball for the whole I Mix What I Like Real News crew. Peace if you're willing to fight for it, as Fred Hampton used to say. We'll catch you in the whirlwind. Peace, everybody.
I mix what I like.